Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Senator. Oh man, this was on my shelf for a long time. The box is just ugly. The colors in the game are just drab. There isn't a component that goes, wow, I want to play this game. I don't like the idea that it was in 7 languages. I don't know why, because maybe the font is so small in the back, the font is so small in the book. It just doesn't look good at all. With that said, once you get inside of it, it's not a bad little bidding, bluffing, screw your neighbor game. If you like Take That games, if you like Take That, you have to play this game, because it's a Take That game without getting a random card to screw your neighbor. And the bidding in it with the cards is just fantastic. Now, this game is now banned from my house. The friends I played it with, we got into a huge friendly argument about it. It got into a situation where I forced her to play a card, and instead of playing that card, she let somebody win the game. And she said, well, you made me do it. I'm like, no, you had other options. So this is not a game that we'll be pulling back out. I'm going to be purging this game because of the arguments that came out of it. And we're usually such a docile group that nothing really bothers us, but this game it's now a running joke. Yet, this is a good game. If you're looking for a really good bidding game, if you're looking for a really screw your neighbor game, this is it. And I can see why people don't talk about this, because this is a game that could cause multiple arguments with your friends. This is an old Eric Lang game. So Eric Lang is really hot right now, making Blood Rage and some other games that are coming out. But this is an old classic here. But you don't ever hear anybody talking about it. It's really in the diplomacy thing. It's really in the screw your neighbor thing. Like, your entire point of the game, 90% is screwing those people around you, and secondary is you scoring points. You're going to have to be okay with that. Otherwise, it's not really something that's going to look good on the table. I even say even though it's got some cardboard chits in it, I'm going to say it's mostly a card game. Mostly bidding. There were some really, really tight decisions in it. To me, it's probably been an overlooked game, probably based on the production of it, which is high, it just looks bad. But with a lot of these games, like the Resistance coming out, these little card games, Love Letter, I'm surprised. This might have done better today than it did when it come out. And I don't think you always say that, but it's an ugly, dirty game. I mean, you will not like your friends when you're done. So Purge, I don't want to be a part of it any longer, and nobody will play it at my house, so it won't stick around. Let's take a look at the components for Senator, which is an old Final Fantasy Fantasy Flight game. You don't see boxes like this much anymore with them, and you won't see the traditional miniatures in here that you usually see. You get a black and white rulebook with some of the smallest fonts you may ever find in a board game book. The main driver of this game are going to be these cards. Everybody's going to get a set. These are really, really nice cards. I like them a lot. Just a tad undersized, but it feels really good in your hand. And you're going to have some action cards that you will use. And there's enough here for 5 players to play together. You get these scrolls, which everybody will get one. And really what you're going to be kind of bidding on during these games are these. Very hard cardboard. Very, very nice. You don't have to worry about them chipping or ruining. You can probably run over these with a steamroller and they'd be fine. You can see the artwork is minimalist, but nice. And these are really good. You have a veto. You have your tribunes that are nice.
You have plenty of these you can see to randomize it and to make it nice. So not a ton of components in here, but what is here is good. The colors, you know, they're trying to stay with the style of the time and era and what they're trying to do here. But very good job.
The rules for Senator are printed on the smallest, most drab rulebook I've ever seen. It is terrible. It's not well written. It's not well presented, and probably be better off being burnt. Good luck reading the font. I hope you can understand it from my flow of the game, because you will not understand it from the rules, because you're going to need a microscope or a magnifying glass just to read the words in this. It's terrible. I don't know why they insisted on it being in 7 different languages in one book, and they only had 4 pages, like whatever. So, rule book I'm not a fan of. One of the worst rule books I've seen, just for the font. And if you see this, you'll laugh about it. You're like, oh, I know what he's talking about. It's incredibly difficult to read.
So I found this game to be pretty hard to figure out from the rule book, so I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of how to play it. You can have this scroll, and what you'll have is you'll have some of these orders that you guys are bidding on, and I'll kind of show you how some of them work. So basically, if it's above your scroll, if you had this, and well, that can never be, it's above your scroll, it's at risk. Somebody could destroy it for you. If it's below your scroll, it will score victory points. You'll score 1 victory point each for each of these agendas. So you want to get it underneath there if possible. So what you're going to do is the game will normally have a couple, like an event action card. This one says no tribunes this round. You're going to put extra agendas out and so forth. Just to shake things up a little bit. And there's an advertisement for Citadels. The way the game is going to play is whoever turns it is going to select an agenda that we will bid on. Each player has the same amount of cards. And when you bid, you will bid one of your cards, but keep in mind, once you bid it, you will not get it back for the round. So you may pass if you don't want something. If you do, you may bid. So let's say you bid 2. And it goes around, somebody bids 3. Well, you would have to have another 2, so you have to go higher. And now this is kind of what you're stuck with. But let's say you had bid a 5 to start out with. And now you're just kind of stuck here. You want to have that 5 again. Or if, say, you use some of your cards and you have a 2 and a 5. If you bid 2 and somebody else bids 3, and I only have this card left, now I'm bidding 7 or I'm out. And that's kind of where you sit. Now, the one card that you have that's unique is the Assassin. Everybody has this card. But let's say this guy bid his 5. Oh, it's not a 5. Let's say he bid 7. You could play this Assassin card. It immediately ends it. This gets thrown out. Nobody will get it, and he will lose his cards. You will lose your Assassin for the round, just for the round. So everybody has one of these, and each of these will probably be played at some point. So you want to be very, very careful that you don't bid too high too soon, because people will just assassin you and take it out. Now the way it works is each is going to have a power. So like this one, for example, is just 1 victory point. When you get it, it immediately comes under. Nice. This one's pretty nice. It's a trade. So when you get this, so let's say I didn't get this yet. When you get this, you can also pick another agenda and you immediately win it. So maybe I would pick this and take that. And let's say I won another couple and I got this. So when you win, see I win this one is taxation. What this is going to give me is the veto. I'll explain how the veto works in just a second. So I get this. Now I can keep this and score the victory point for myself, or I can give it to anybody I want. And you can do that every time you win one of these agendas. Now why wouldn't you just keep the victory point? The reason why is if you look at the bottom, it cannot be in the same place where the barrel or the public works is. Since I have 2 barrels, and they're worth 1 victory point each too, if I was to put this in my area, I would have to discard both of these. I don't want to do that. So if somebody else won this, they may do that to screw me over. They're like, okay, I'm going to give this to you then. They don't get the victory point. They're getting a victory point to me, but I'm losing 2. If I had the veto, I could play the veto, and that's what it does. It would block it. So there's some gameplay about when you keep it and when you give it to somebody else. The one thing that's kind of interesting is this Tribune, what this allows you to do, and you can bid on this just like an agenda, and what it'll do is it'll take everything you have and above and bring it below so it's safe. So being able to process this is very important. And you want to look at these because a lot of these are in conflict with each other. See the helmet? You can the puppet works in the helmet. So you want to be careful about that. But each agenda also gives you the power. So when you win it, you can always utilize the power and then maybe give it to somebody else to screw them over. And that's how it works. I mean, this is a big screw you game without drawing a random card and screwing somebody over. So if you like screw you games, but you don't like the randomness you see in most of them, this might be the game for you because it's really about where you bid and how you use your cards. It's not going to be a random fest.
Who should buy this game? I think that this would be a good game for gamers who like the in-your-face negotiations and like the agitating your neighbors and screwing them over, but want a more cerebral exercise in this, and not just a Munchkin style. And I even say a family could play this. If they could hold their stuff in and just like to nitpick at each other and have fun with it, but you have to have a certain type of family to play this. Otherwise, I mean, you really need a group who can be hostile towards each other, but still like each other and are cool with that kind of thing. If you're an overly friendly group and you don't like to hurt other people, this is not the game for you. So, I could see how this game would not be that popular just because of how cutthroat it is. But I think it's an experience that I would say most gamers should at least try out. I don't say that very often, especially for an older game that looks this bad to me. But it's cutthroat, my friends, and I mean, you're going to lose a friend or two playing this. It's like every senator in the world wanted to backstab each other. So, I'm not going to keep it around. I'm going to purge it because I can't get anybody to play with me. I'm not really sure I want to play it again, even though I had a blast playing it. And the experience I had playing with it will live. Like, we talk about it all the time, but not in a positive way.